We're just starting off in this program called Animate, and it's an Adobe product. I'm going to create a new file, and we're going to use some frame-by-frame animation to explore Animate. So I picked the standard file. Just a little review from a previous lesson. I can change the frames per second. I can change the color of the stage. I can do all of that from over here. But I'm interested in making a bubble wand and a bubble float up from the bubble wand. So I'm going to use my oval tool. Remember, in this class, we're going to stay away from the primitives. So I'm going to use my oval tool. I'm actually going to take out the fill. No fill. I'm going to have a stroke. Let's make it purple, a little bit thicker. And making my bubble wand. So I have this bubble wand, and I want to name the layer. So down here on this layer, I'm going to type wand. The layer has different settings. There's this box right here, which kind of makes an outline of your shape. There's the hide button, so there's an eyeball that hides this layer if you need to hide it, and there's a lock. And I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer for right now because I don't want to make any changes to it. On another layer though, so I'm going to add a new layer. There's a couple ways to add a new layer. I can hit this plus, which is my favorite way to add a layer, or I can go to Insert, Layer, and add a layer here, or you can right click and insert layer. So I want a separate layer. Anything that's like multiple objects, anything that's doing something different from the other item, you want to have as a different layer. So this is going to be my bubble. And this time I want fill. I don't want stroke. And I want my fill to be about 60%. So it's kind of invisible, like maybe a button, a bubble you can see through. And I'm going to click and drag my bubble. So I have my bubble on one layer and my wand on its other layer. And to test this out, I can now unlock the wand, by the way. I can make sure that when I click on the eyeball of the bubble layer, the bubble disappears. When I click on the wand layer, the wand disappears. And so now I know I have both of my objects on their own layer. Now I'm going to start to animate my bubble, but you're going to see the wand disappear, and that's okay. We'll get it back later. So to make my bubble move, I'm going to click on the next frame that's here, the next box that's available. I clicked on it first to highlight it. Now I'm going to insert a keyframe. And then what do you want to do with it? So I'm going to move it up. And then keep doing that. So click on the next box. So the third frame is selected, it's blue. I'm going to insert a keyframe, move this up. And click on the fourth box, insert a keyframe, move this up. So the keyframe is this black dot is saying, I know I have the bubble, and this is where I want it to be. So you kind of keep repeating this until you get it outside of your scene. So this work area is important. This gray area around the stage is important because if I have a train doesn't magically appear and move. Instead, it moves from the outside and slowly moves in. So this bubble is moving outside. So if I play it, here's a play button. I can also hit enter on my keyboard. The bubble plays, but my wand disappears. So how do I get my wand back? So I took 8 frames for the bubble to move. So I'm going to come down to the wand layer, and on frame 8, I'm going to insert a keyframe. So now my wand is just going to sit there for 8 frames. So I made a copy of the wand from frame 1. I just didn't move it this time. So when I inserted a keyframe, I just didn't move the wand. And so I have 2 layers. We practice frame by frame animation, and we're just starting to get used to using Animate. Let's go ahead and save this as bubble. So save as bubble. And then you can submit the file.